Hi, we're here in Brisbane. You guys want to give a big cheer and wave? That was groovy. We're just doing a little Q&A about wealth dynamics. So we had a hand up over here. I don't want to ask my question anymore. No. I just sprung that we're going to do this on video as well. But we're going to talk to everyone. We'll just have my hand holding here, and it's going to be Stephen, right? So Stephen, do you want to stand up for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Can we give Stephen a round of applause?
The golden nugget that you gave me in that last session was not just that wealth dynamics is attributed to people, but to the nations. And then you said that England, for example, is a nation of creators.
Well, it's more creative nation.
Creative,
it's got all different types, but that's the big one.
So I have trouble with my wife, who's a creator, and I'm a mechanic.
Is your wife here?
Unfortunately, she's right next to me, sitting here.
Gillian, do you want to stand up as well?
Thanks.
Can we give Gillian a round of applause?
So in the next couple of months, we're actually going to spend a number of months, maybe up to a year, in the UK.
Yes.
So as a mechanic, I'm going to be in a nation full of all these creators. How am I going to fit?
Go to France. No. First of all, you excited to go there?
No, absolutely.
So it's linked to your passion and everything like that, right?
I was until I got worried about I'm going to be with all these creators.
All right. Okay. So the first thing is, do you want to just share maybe just one distinction that you guys have got? Maybe Gillian, you could even share it by just even knowing as couples. Hands up, who's couples here at the moment? Oh, okay. So do you want to just share as couples how by knowing your profiles has changed how you can work with each other?
Okay. Well, we tend to, because we're next door to each other, creator, mechanic, we tended to be interested in the same things, but the way we were interested in like decorating or anything like that, we would absolutely argue about. And also I'd be running a million miles ahead, whereas Steve would be, well, what's the detail? Because he's a steel mechanic, and he'd want to know the detail, he'd be holding me back, and we would have horrendous arguments. And also, because I'd be creating, 10 different projects, and Steve, as the mechanic, is trying to finish one of them. So we got really close to splitting up, and it was actually we were, and it was actually meeting Roger that I realised that as a mechanic, being married to a mechanic, I had to slow down a bit, but also the best thing that we did was to start to learn to do different projects. So we would actually share, we'd say, okay, well, this is your project and this is my project. And it has completely changed our lives, I can tell you.
Yeah, that's so cool, right? Isn't this great? You've got the two of them sitting right next to each other, listening to the same thing we're talking about on wealth dynamics, and one is thinking this is the best thing ever, and the other is thinking this is the worst thing ever. It's like, what's going to happen when we go to England? So the point is, you're always needed, right? There's going to be people who are needed in different ways. And so, for example, if you take some of the best mechanics, they come out of America, because in America, which is very, very much blaze, it's all about the people. They need the systems, right? So it's exactly the same in the UK. There are people there who are really looking for the best systems. You can take some of the best systems, whether they're from Australia, whether they're from Asia, and say, hey, choose your customer. And say, right, those customers very likely aren't getting served with as good a system as they could be. You can set up a whole new business that could be really good. You could set up a business where people in the UK that you meet, that you're passionate about, could do more business with people right here in Australia and make that connection. Would that be something
that'd be exciting?
Yeah. So you get the idea, right? Yeah. With everyone. Let's give a big round of applause for the question. Thank you. Let's take another question. We had a hand up over here, so we'll come over for a second question here. Hi there.
Thanks, Rog.
My name is Ray. Can we give Ray a round of applause? Thank you, Graham.
One of the things that I've been struggling with for probably about 8 years now is the difference between flow and, or we've only sort of got into the flow thing in the last sort of 6 months, but being introduced to Think and Grow Rich as a young kid with my father, and one of the principles in there is persistence. You've got to go through things and you'll go through them. And
providing you're persisting on the right thing.
And
some of the biggest failures.
That's the question I'm thinking of. Yeah. Being in real estate, for me, hitting a lot of roadblocks where things aren't happening.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying to myself, you just got to persist. You just got to persist. You just got to persist, and it'll happen.
Right.
And then being introduced to your concept there, and through Scandinavia, I found that there's got this flow thing.
So are you passionate about property? Because that's what you're doing right now, right?
Well, I'm not really passionate about it. I've found that I'm passionate about something else.
Okay, all right. What are you passionate about?
Well, I'm passionate about something like you're doing. That's what I want to do.
So actually being able to either mentor or support others.
Mentor, speaking, that type of
Let's
thing.
imagine you could do that and you ended up having the impact you want to have, so you actually help people in a certain way.
Yeah.
It goes beyond them, right? Because as long as you're trying to help someone, it's not going to work. But if you help whatever it is they're trying to help, then it works way easier, right? So what is it that you're going to be able to help others to do outside of just having a better life and so on? That's going to be what's going to make it meaningful for you.
Solving problems for them. Yeah.
Okay, but for what end? Is it for you to be able to have a different lifestyle, for them to have a different lifestyle?
No, it's about other people expanding their knowledge and expanding their awareness and making a better life for them in that way.
Okay, and then what is the end result of them having a better life?
Well, they get what they want, and they get a better life within themselves.
And then what is the purpose of that? Because if everyone was to just have that, we'd be sitting on a beach or not actually doing anything, and then we'd give up on that and go do something else, right? There's got to be something more meaningful than what they're doing for themselves. So,
They'll feel a lot better inside themselves, and
okay.
And,
so imagine you felt a lot better inside yourself. You could then pass that information on. You're already able to do that, but you're now wanting to pass that on to someone else, because the fulfillment doesn't come by just being okay with yourself, right? It comes by actually impacting others.
Yeah.
So would you say that the impact you'd be able to have on others is that they also would be able to impact others after that?
Well, that would come back to what their dreams and goals are, but they would have the attitude, they would be a lot happier in themselves, so that would just flow out into others, and other people would see that, and that would make other people happy.
Is everyone seeing the distinction between helping someone for them to help themselves and helping others so they can help others? Because that's purpose, right? Purpose isn't where you're just trying to have them as the end point. It's when you have them as the opening themselves. Because unless you treat someone as the flower, as the flow through, then the flow's never going to come your way. It's like a river trying to go off a river in order to hit a dam. The water ain't going to come, right? But unless that water also finds its way to the sea, then the water will start flowing and will continue flowing. So most of us, we haven't thought beyond our customer to what's the purpose of why we're even trying to help the customer. Because when they get help, they're going to want to help someone or something. So that's where the purpose leads beyond that, which is really important. So the reason you're more stuck and people can't help you that much is by just letting people know you want to help others or do more of what I'm doing. People like me would then say, for what purpose? Because if it's just to stand on stage or if it's just to, basically, help someone, it's not enough, right? Because once they're helped, they better know what they're going to do, or you've got to help them to do that, or else you won't find the right people coming to you in the first place. We all want to help. We want to be helped. We all want to find ourselves to improve in some way, but all for a particular purpose, not just for its own sake, right? So you have to think beyond that in the same way that if you're kicking a ball, you have to think beyond the person you're kicking it to see where they're going to pass it on to as well. And that's what Flow's all about, is seeing the connections beyond that one thing you're looking at right now. So I'm going to give you an example of this, right? Let's take, hands up who's in property in the room at the moment. We've got quite a few people, right? Anyone who's been with us for a few years that's used property, is Karen in the room at the moment? We've got Karen here. Or is Simon in the room at the moment? Simon's in here at the moment. I'm going to come over to Simon, because Simon, I didn't get you to speak that much earlier, and we can get the microphone to Simon. I'd love you to share this whole thing about, as you're helping others, like through your mastermind and so on in property specifically, what it is you're seeing them able to do as well.
So one of the things we teach people to do is how to replace their income. So when you replace your income, you also get your time back. So we've got people who, for example, maybe go and do charity work in Africa, or they might be helping people in the UK. And it's about, as you said, once you have money coming in, you realise money's not the most important thing. And actually, to get a full self-actualisation, you have to go to a high level. You have to be growing, you have to be contributing.
Yes.
And as you said, it's about working out what your purpose is, and it's different for everyone. And so by working out what's really important to you, and then be able to put that into practice, suddenly life feels very different. And then you might even enjoy what you do as a job, but if you can do it because you enjoy it rather than because you're being paid for it, it's completely different.
So you found some people who have actually come on board, and because they actually love what you're doing, which is teaching how to do property, they themselves have actually done the same.
Yeah.
So Simon now has the Property Investment Network I mentioned earlier. That's like 50 different people who've said, like, now that I've actually got enough money I want to give back, I want to set up one of these in my local area. That's then passed on to others. And so the real legacy that Simon's leaving is a full network around the world of people helping people. Does everyone get that? Pretty awesome, right? So we're going to see more of that as we go through this whole process. But can we give Simon a big round of applause first of all? Thank you. And what I'm going to do is, because we're going to, after the lunch break, we're going to get much more into this. And we're going to have some of our change makers up where they're going to have a chance to share their stories as well. What I'm going to do right now is finish up on this little video here by just sharing what we were going through in terms of the actual Wealth Dynamics Square. And we're going to finish with everyone saying a big goodbye to everyone on YouTube. So thanks very much, everyone. Give them a big cheer, big goodbye. All right. Bye.